The date is coming closer, the 22nd of November, a Monday. The Aquatics Species Pack will finally drop into our respective stores of purchase. Yes, that's right, the Aquatic Species Pack is coming in our general direction on the 22nd of November, and of course it will come in combination with the 3.2 Herbert update. What an exciting time. But what does the Species Pack actually entail? Well, we have a bunch of new civics, we have a bunch of new origins, as well as a slew of new aquatic species portrait packs, as well as apparently a new seafarer voice, and I do hope that there is going to be at least one sea shanty in there. But still though, the origins themselves, Here Be Dragons and Ocean Paradise, were already teased on some of the Paradox streams, and overall they look pretty good, even though they didn't go too in-depth there. Apparently the dragon can land on a planet and do stuff there, which is pretty cool.
Supply of food we left behind probably helped, it must be said. The dragon is laid into it with astounding veracity. Our researchers are observing it from a distance. Watch and wait.
Yeah, so we
add feeding dragon to storm wall with the following results: plus stability, produces community, upkeep, 15 food. The event.
Still though, with the origins themselves, there's a lot of really cool stuff coming our way for the game, and the real question is it going to be any good? Now, of course, as always, I'll be doing a review on the pack itself to see is it worth your while and that sort of things, and of course also how it stands up versus some of the other species packs out there. Ever since the Lithoid Species Pack, the packs themselves have been extremely extensive, with civics, origins, as well as traits being added to these aliens. And of course, that meant that older ones had to be reworked, which is what we recently saw in the LEM update, where both humanoids as well as the plantoids were updated, and also a little dash of necroids in there, which is pretty exciting. Still though, the 3.2 update, which will come out in parallel with the expansion, is of course named after Frank Herbert, who was recently once again immortalized in the new Doom movie. Yes, if you're watching this in the future, Dune just came out a couple of weeks ago. I watched it. It's pretty darn good. You should probably go and check it out. And what does that one bring? Well, Pompous Purist is coming to the game, which is also going to be part of humanoids. From what I understand is that they originally want to put it into the LEM update, but I didn't have time. But yeah, basically it allows for a new diplomatic style, but for xenophobes. So imagine the joys of basically not wanting to talk to anybody, and you have to reach out to them, and they won't be able to talk to you otherwise, which is pretty cool. Apparently it's based on elven fantasy in this particular case. In addition to that, terraforming improvements is what we're going to be seeing as well, with all sorts of little events that can come up after terraforming. What is your planet going to look like? Are you going to get additional bonuses out of the terraforming, etc., etc.? So events will be attached to that, and apparently there are going to be variants in power on how those are going to work. And apparently they will only trigger on the first time a planet is terraformed, because if these events are really, really strong, then of course, then the difficulty is going to be when it comes to trying to trigger it over and over again. And I wonder how this is going to tie into, say, the Baul, where you can turn a planet to a Gaia world pretty much instantly, and whether or not you're going to get the events out of that. New anomalies are being added, gas giants, asteroids, as well as new categories coming into our general direction. And basically, some of the older anomalies are being reworked. One example that the developers have given is the giant skeleton anomaly, which is pretty interesting. A lot of these older events have not been touched since launch over 6 years ago, and now it's time to add more flavor to them, which is pretty good. I like how the Custodian team is touching up some of these older systems and getting new options in there to keep the game fresh and your gameplay experience pretty much on par. Something that we also touched upon in the past in previous Dev Diaries is the improvements to AI. We're looking to see new AI improvements coming in our general direction, and specifically in the economic system. One big point from the LEM update is that we had rebalance of the economy system, but obviously the older AI has not been keeping up with that, so they have reworked the economic system, and we can expect new economic situations to pop up, and basically having the AI to be a little bit more robust than they have had in the past. The fleet manager is also being updated as well, so you can create larger fleets than your command limit, apparently, which is pretty exciting. The real question is whether or not that is going to significantly change upkeep cost. My apologies, that was actually in 3.1, but now in 3.2 that is going to be fixed. So yeah, that's one major point there. Fleet and reinforcements are going to be a little bit more flexible, being able to come in for the right places and avoiding enemy fleets a little bit more proactively. In addition, the new ship browser is coming in as well. It's been tested quite extensively through multiple people over the last few months. I've had the liberty to play around with it quite extensively, and basically what it does is it allows you to preview your ships relatively early, basically in your empire setup, so you can see what is going on. And now with the 3.2 patch, everybody is going to have that, which is really cool. In addition, performance improvements always being part of the Stellaris update cycle. The development team is always looking to improve the balance there, and yeah, there is multiplayer stability as well as a whole bunch of bug fixes. I'm really looking forward to see the patch notes on this, which could be really cool. I'm really looking forward to that because patch notes is the way to go. Still though, as I mentioned, Aquatics coming out on November the 22nd, so get your calendars in place. It will most likely break your save games, as these things usually do, so please be aware of that. We're gonna go and wrap things up here. I hope you enjoyed this and hope this news has brightened your day and making yourselves ready for next week when Aquatics drop. And like I said, I will be doing a deep dive, literally a deep dive into Aquatics, to, of course, disseminate all the new mechanics that are there, the new origins, the new civics, and of course, as always, the review of the expansion. We're going to wrap it up here. Bit of a short video today. I know that we didn't do one last week, but in all honesty, the art around the portraits, while cool, is not necessarily that we need to do a deep dive into in general. If you want to know more about how the portraits work and how they were built and that sort of thing, feel free to follow the link in the description down below, because it will take you to the relevant dev diary for that. I want to thank my patrons, as always, for making this video possible, and we are going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, take good care of yourselves. And as always, so long and thanks for all the fish.